Welcome back to another episode of the Day After podcast. And we got to say,
This is,
uh,
I think it's one of the best episodes of the season. Like,
yeah,
it's so many twists and turns, the shot in the dark, and then like the gameplay, and then one of the best best eliminations we've seen where she appreciated the gameplay so well. Everyone was kind of cheering and hugging and all that. And then she blew up everyone's game. And then
yeah,
she eliminated herself. It's like the tribe has spoken.
yeah. She wanted a last little bit of influence on the game by basically saying, hey, all this information is now on the table for everyone. Everyone now knows how everyone's playing the game, where they stand on most likely the jury, because I imagine Drea might go there and have a lot of impact on what the jury is thinking at the end.
I think so. And she makes a good point, and I don't think there's really anyone that she pointed out that it was like wrong. Like, they're all threats in their own way. She was even like, "Hey, Romeo, you've always been on the chopping block."
Yeah, I do think the Omer one is bad for what Omer is playing. I think for a lot of people it wouldn't matter, but he is trying to do these moves without people knowing that he's doing these
Yeah,
moves.
that
The
was like
move got
where,
exposed tonight, which is the first time that has happened.
yeah, he's in deep doo doo now. Like, he went
Yeah.
from like, one thing I have to mention, there was a shot where he was giving confessional. The man was on a throne. He was literally like, it was like a throne. He was talking, legs crossed. It reminiscent of Cochrane back in Karamoan.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
exactly.
oh my god, the winner edit. And then
Yeah.
surprise, now he's, especially since the Taku 4 made it to the final 6, which they said in the next time on Survivor. And yeah, like, he's things are like, like Omer, it's not looking good right now.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have to see. We have seen him masterfully maneuver around this game so far. Only a few more tribals left to ultimately get there. Definitely possible. But he's probably not winning any of these immunity challenges. I just imagine Jonathan and Lindsay are probably going to be battling it out as long as the two of them are still around.
That's one of the great things about this this episode, because they've battled it out. Like, when we showed, because we knew those two were like guaranteed to do it. I was like, oh, maybe Drea, maybe Mike. But no, straight up these two.
I called it, by the way. I 100%. This is what causes Lindsay to do the do or die.
But and then I got worried because I'm like, because
yeah,
he might be right. This is where Lindsay may go. And I'm like, I've come around so much on Lindsay. Well, I mean, I always liked Lindsay, but the show started coming around. And I'm like, I was right.
It was scary, especially because right after that, we ended up going back to camp. And they give us the Lindsay flashback,
I know.
They did that last episode with High right before we get it out. It's like, oh, are they just setting us up now for Lindsay to go out? Like, is that why they're taking this long to do it?
It's definitely possible. Like, you never really know, and like, the editors are being a little bit more, I'd say, smart this time around.
Yeah, a little cheeky.
Yeah. And one thing that, because I watch it on my phone, right? And when I watch CBS All Access, like, my phone will have like the time right in the upper right-hand corner or left-hand corner, depending on how I have my phone. And so I have to like cover part of it. So that way because I didn't want to be, if there was a vote, to see like, oh, how much time left? Because obviously the do or die, like,
I will say, when the do or die happened, I saw there was 10 minutes left when he had called Lindsay
kind of
up,
figured.
and I was already kind of like, okay, well,
Like when they came back from commercial, I kind of noticed that it was like a fast tribal council. So I was like, all right, it's probably this, but I'm not gonna like rule it out because Ryan has a crappy sense of time.
yeah,
But it did feel a little short, the
yeah,
time between.
exactly. But I do want to stress, despite I like this episode, I think it was great television, everything. Do not bring back the do or die. And like, imagine what this episode is if Lindsay goes home, we get robbed of that tribal council.
Yeah,
someone goes home, and we don't even, because it's not even a vote. It's like
I disagree that they shouldn't bring it back. I do agree because in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, and they brought it up.
yeah. Well, it just proves
strategy.
that a vote is way more exciting and impactful than an RNG chance to go home.
I know. I guess like if it doesn't come back, I'm not going to be upset. Like I'm not like, no, it must be in every season. I think it's an interesting twist, but if it doesn't come back, I won't be upset. I don't think it should never come back.
I think it should never come back. I think it is slightly better than the Hourglass twist, but I consider the Hourglass twist the worst twist in Survivor history. So
I mean, like, yes, the Hourglass is definitely a bad twist, but like, no, I like the shot in the dark. But if it doesn't come
do or
back,
die, it's not a shot in the dark.
Do or die. Sorry,
you got to know your advantages, Ryan. we have so many of them nowadays.
I know. I need a little freaking glossary.
Yeah, an encyclopedia of advantages.
But yeah, it was like I said, it's something where I was excited for coming into this episode. I think it makes it like a little it's like this one wild card thing. It's kind of like how I like how in recent seasons they split up the teams for like one of the tribal councils for like like when it's like 10 or 11 and then they like have 2 eliminations.
Yeah,
it's like one of those wild card things where I'm like, oh man, this is going to shake up the game, or maybe not.
But the difference between those scenarios is one ends in a vote where you can still play your game, and it's not it's not did you pick the right box. I think ultimately when it becomes something like that, if it's like you have to do a challenge at tribal council to survive, that's way better. That is significantly better for a do or die. But if it is simply you have to pick something and hope that you get the fire, I think it won't work as well as what a normal vote could give you.
All right, it's something they could workshop in the future. If it is how it is going forward, like I said, I'll roll with it. I'll enjoy it. But like if they do that where it is like a challenge, that'd be cool to see. Kind of like a fire making or whatnot.
Exactly. Or let's bring some fear factor in it. But strap someone to a chair, put a helmet on them, and put some snakes or spiders in there for 5 minutes.
Okay, I don't think that's it, but maybe the eating part of fear factor. We'll see. But no, it's something where, trust me, it would have been very crappy if Lindsay went home, because like Lindsay has been shining a lot.
She's the last 2 or 3 episodes besides this one has Lindsay's finally come into her own and is actually being shown on the screen at more than just like commenting on someone else on the game. Which is nice to see.
And like, it highlighted this little like rivalry that kind of came up between her and Jonathan, which we got to say, Jonathan, he's starting to transition into kind of a villain, or like to look like a little bit of a villain.
Yeah, I think we're being set up for a Jonathan Lindsay showdown coming up here. I don't think it's next week. I do think that we might be seeing it at Final 5 because I'm going to say I think Jonathan will win another immunity, and I think Lindsay's playing her idol or her amulet, so that's now an idol. And so I think we'll end up seeing them actually clash at Final 5. But I also want to say you are now down to only Lindsay. It is now Lindsay for you, and then I have 5 people.
I kind of figured, like, I was like, in the back of my head, I'm like, the whole like Drea elimination was great, and so I don't even like, I knew I'm fucked. So I'm like, I don't even care about it. At the same time, I'm like, yeah, that just makes my score even lower. But I was so like great and so happy for it. I was like, all right, yeah. But that just shows just how bad I am at choosing, because we didn't start out with 20. We started out with 9 each. Well, I started out kind of with 8 because of the whole Jackson thing. But like, regardless, it was just like heat-seeking missiles on all my peeps.
Yeah, just one after another. If Lindsay ends up going home at like 5, because obviously she's safe one more time. At least you're gonna have someone going into the finale.
Hold on. Yeah, the only person you've lost in the past, quite since the merge, was High.
Yeah,
everyone else has been me.
Yeah. Which is crazy. I mean, I thought Romeo would have been gone by now. It's crazy that Romeo is here in Final 6.
Well, I mean, no, I don't think it's crazy at all, because like, it's getting to that point, and we've been seeing it the past 2 episodes, and we're definitely going to see it more. He's going to make his way to the finale.
You think? I think he is in serious danger here, but the reason being is actually because at the end of this last tribal council, Jeff Probst just like commented on their gameplay and how they're all playing great games. Look at how many people have idols right now. So in a world where Jonathan wins immunity, Lindsay plays her idol, Mary Ann might get scared and reactively play her idol, causing Mike to also play his idol. Like, we might have a chain idol play. Suddenly, Omer and Romeo are the only ones who can receive votes. And then you're in a situation of, are you flipping on Romeo, or do you stick with now a safe vote, which is what Romeo has been edited so far, is like, he is the safe vote to take out. Do you take out
Omer? You take out Omer.
I think you do, but I am not sure that this group is going to do it. I think that they'd rather play with Omer. It's crazy.
I don't know, like I think it's time. I think it's time where they're, like, especially after Drea kind of blew up his game, like, they're going to be like, Omer, he's been kind of like pulling strings and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends. If Omer gives back the idol to Mike, which I do think he is going to do, I don't think he's going to just basically say, no, Mike, I'm keeping it, now you're going home. Yeah, that would instantly ruin his game. Like, that's not the game Omer's playing. He's going to give it back. I think Mike is going to stick with him. I think Jonathan still really likes him, and I don't see Mary Ann flipping on Omer either. I really see that Omer has managed to maneuver the game so far where everyone who might not have wanted to play the game with him are gone, and everyone who wants to play with the game with him are still in the game.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like, I feel like they might be getting a bit wise to it. I know, like, it's something where everyone's a threat in their own right, and like, we saw him literally on a throne this episode. But
he just has such a great winner edits. Like, I'm still on the mindset that 41, they are trying to do everything the opposite of what went wrong in 41. And I think giving a good winner story and edits to someone might be that one of those things that they tried to do this season that they missed last season.
I mean, it's definitely possible. I don't want to count anything as a guarantee on this show. I mean,
I still think we have a great Final 6. I think we have one of the best Final 6s in Survivor. Definitely way better than last season. I think last season we lost a lot of the great players early on in the season, and we kind of were left with the people who we were less interested on how they
had
do.
We had we had a few people. We had, Xander, we had Ricard, we had Danny. So like we still had like people that we were like into, and like I mean, granted, with the whole Deshaun and Heather like final like fire making challenge was interesting, something we didn't expect, but it did happen. Like,
yeah, but remember, Heather received a total of 13 confessionals over the course of the whole of the whole season. Yeah. Yeah, which by the way, I think I don't know what the confessional counts are now, but pretty much everyone in the game I think is like double that. So
yeah.
or roughly doubled. So
I mean, it's like I said, I don't count anyone out. Like the Heather thing, like obviously she wasn't going to win, but like at the same time, it's like this time around, no, I get it. There is a definitely I can see like win conditions for kind of everyone, though I will admit obviously some are stronger than others. It really depends on like the jury and like, the final like end games of everyone.
yeah,
I do, even though I have come to bat be like, oh, Romeo is an underdog and stuff, I still think like he's like the least likely to win.
Yeah, if I had to say, I think Romeo and Jonathan are the least likely people to win. I don't really know the combination of players that it would take for them to win the game. I just always feel like there's just someone that's going to be able to beat them in a final three scenario. I think Lindsay has to be with Jonathan and Romeo. I really do think that that's like her best way of being able to win the game. And I don't know if she's going to do it. I think she's got these lasers focused on taking out Jonathan, even though it really is her best situation to take him, let him build up this big ego, and then at final tribal basically expose his ego in front of everyone, and basically say I was actually doing it all, and he was just the muscle.
Yeah, it's possible, and we've been seeing him in this light, especially in this one, like the whole argument with Ned and stuff.
Yeah,
and no, I get it. Like they said, oh, he's being hangry. I've been hangry before. I get it, but like I don't know, like because of like the narrative and everything, like I do kind of agree with you where, like Jonathan is probably fifth place on the grand scheme of like right now, who is like the number one winner or the winner pick.
Yeah, and I almost said it last week, but Jonathan didn't win the rewards last week, and that was the first reward he missed out on. And I said I have been very clear that if you're a big strong guy, you need to win these rewards because you do
Calories.
you do lose more calories than someone like Romeo. Like you're
because
just
it takes more to maintain all that stuff.
exactly. So I definitely think that him not going on that rewards and not being able to have that extra day or two of substance that you're kind of used to, I think that kind of came back to bite him here. And we saw near the end of the merge pre-merge section with him when they weren't getting there weren't as many rewards or whatever for him to be indulging in. He was starting to have some of these moments as well. So it's very important for his gameplay, I think, for him to be winning food rewards.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're going to be scarce coming forward because, like, this was day, I forget, was this day 20 or day 21 when they ended?
21. And then next week is 23. And then it's 24 onwards.
Yeah, and then it's onward.
Yeah. So we might get one more reward challenge.
Exactly. And then like sometimes they have like in tandem, like, oh, if you win this, you get like little din or whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they might do one of those. Probably a final five. I feel like they like a final five rewards splits.
Because at final four, if you win, you have the breakfast tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we'll probably see a reward challenge, and then at final five we might see like an immunity rewards mix where you get to take like one person with you.
Yeah, and at that point, if you already, in final four, very playable scenario. Like you want to be immune all the way up until then, because like even if you don't win, there's a lot of ways to save yourself. Getting good with the person that have immunity, or just like you have a shot with the making fire. So,
and Jonathan, I think will probably beat most people in fire. Maybe Mike's the only person that might do it.
He even said this episode, it was like, I'm still the provider. I'm the one that starts the fire every day and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that he is very capable of doing it. So it is really just like if he wins 2 more immunities, he's probably in final 3. Yeah. And Danny was in this position last time. Like he was the big guy, won an immunity at final 7, but could not get the last couple immunity wins to secure himself. So. But I do think Jonathan is more fit for Survivor challenges, and this is a less physical cast.
Yeah. So we'll just have to see what things kind of like lie for him going forward. I do want to talk about Mike, because I believe what was it Omer that brought up? It was like now that Hai is gone, Mike has kind of become the very thing he tried to destroy. He's kind of having an Anakin kind of an Anakin like storyline happening where he wanted to destroy the bad guys, but then he started to become a bad guy himself.
Mike is now trying to show that he's got the power of the tribe, that he's going to be able to call the shots from here to the end. And Omer is sitting here being like, excuse me, I've been the one doing it. Interesting to note though, he was the person who voted with Drea at Tribal today. Interesting. I'm not fully sure the reasoning behind that.
Wait, I thought it was Romeo.
I thought it was Omer.
It was Romeo, because he just kind of had the.
Oh yeah, it was Romeo. My bad. The wiki showed a weird thing there. Yeah. So yeah, it was Romeo.
Like Romeo's always kind of left in the dark on what to do, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's one of these things, like even if he gets the end, no one's gonna respect his game. Like even Drea, who was one of his closest allies, I don't think is really voting for Romeo. I think she'd rather vote for either Omer, Mike, or Lindsay. She's voting for one of those 3 most likely.
Yeah, I agree. It's like we're a third of the way, or we have 1/3 of the cast, not calf, no baby cows here.
Yeah, it's crazy. We only got 2 more episodes of this season. Can you believe that? We're almost done with it.
Where did the time go, man?
I know. Yeah, and then we're going to be able to go back into our branch steals, and we got some exciting ones there. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, definitely an interesting episode. Like despite Shot in the Dark, still on and gone. What?
You mean the do or die?
Yeah, do or die. Now you got me saying it. Yeah.
So I don't feel so bad.
Exactly. But
I will say one other thing, and this was like Drea's fatal flaw. She was always someone that played her like played close to her chest, things like that. But she told Omer about her advantage.
Imagine if she just waited.
Thing is, like, that was her fatal flaw.
Yeah.
That was like the one thing that just information is key. And like, that was like the one thing where it was like, like everyone trusted Omer and everything, but like because you trusted him too much, it led to your elimination.
Yeah, exactly. If she does not tell Omer about that, she is in final 6. Mike goes home.
She gets the idol, but she's actually in. Well, actually, she could be been at the very least final 5.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess if she ends up working with Lindsay at final 6, but yeah. Oh, I mean, also maybe she takes the idol, doesn't play the idol, and then went home anyway. It's like,
I mean, like it, there's a bunch. Either way, it's like one day further,
yeah,
or one elimination spot closer to like the win.
exactly. But yeah, yeah, you don't tell anyone that. I really think these 2 seasons that we've just watched have been a big billboard for future Survivor players to not tell anyone about anything. And so we're probably going to see 2 seasons next where no one tells anyone anything, and they're trying to, the advantages are just like not really being played together either. So it's kind of,
Very likely.
yeah.
Another thing that was brought up at this tribal council was like pre-tribal council head motions and like sign language and body language.
Yeah.
Which is like, oh, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Andrea's like, I'm always watching. When you go and there's no firewood, when you go for firewood, I'm watching. See that.
Yeah, and she, they even showed her calling for them at the water well and not doing the water, and she says that as well at tribal.
I mean, like calling them out on their stuff. Like,
yeah, exactly. But it's one of these things. Like, also, if you let everyone know that you're observant and you're watching everyone's moves, people don't want that around camp. Like, they don't want someone. They don't want to play with that person. They want that person out so that way, they can play without having people being targeted for whatever you're doing around camp.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know what they say, information is key, and hiding information is very, very important. It was her fatal flaw. If it wasn't that, it was her saying, "Oh, I see everything."
Exactly. But yeah, Dre going home here in the same spot as Liana from last season. I think Dre was a bigger character overall. Definitely someone who I think could be seen again in a future season.
She will be. I definitely think she will be, especially since she had such like an iconic elimination too.
Yeah, and she had so many advantages throughout the game.
4 at one time.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was the record too of most advantages. So definitely someone more likely to make the return.
Very
nice. Is there anything else we need to cover here?
This may be our shortest video ever.
Yeah, I know it's we're getting down to the lower ends here. I guess we could talk a little bit about the immunity challenge. We didn't talk too much about that because it's
it was a good little showdown.
Yeah, but we saw this challenge in David versus Goliath, which Christian Hubicki famously they went. It was like 5 or 7 hours in one go. This was about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they made it tougher or if it really was just the food that made it that they couldn't do it for as long.
Well, I think also part of it was I know they could adjust, but I remember specifically Jeff was like, yeah, you have to have your tushy and back on it at all times. That could have been it as well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure because if Christian Hubicki could do that for 7 hours, I feel like Jonathan or Lindsay would have been able to at least do it a little longer than 15 minutes. And I think the few other times they've done it, it's gone much longer. So
maybe it is because I like distinctly remember this time around he was like, "Oh, your back and butt must be on it."
Yeah,
I haven't. Obviously, like I just finished the episode. Not obvious for people at home, but like, so I just finished the episode, so I'm not going to. Well, I didn't have like the time to like backtrack and see if that's how it was done.
Yeah, because it could be that they could also have just made your foothold a little worse, like for you to do it, and that could dramatically make it tougher. Because it does seem like even though they're doing endurance challenges these last 2 seasons, they've wanted to cut the time of an endurance challenge to almost nothing.
Kind of weird because like at the audience at home, like it's still going to be the same amount of time.
Yeah, well, I think the fear is them having this kind of Christian Hubicki-esque long challenge.
Why is that a fear?
Well, because of the scheduling, because they're doing the 26 days, they don't have time to have a long challenge that might eat into their tribal time, like the time for them to, do the strategizing and then the tribal. So they can't push it back a day because sometimes they push challenge or the vote outs back a day because they have extra time, but they don't have that much time.
You have a point there. It could be something similar to back like in Palau or Palau.
Palau, yeah.
Wow, I don't know. Survivor Palau. Where is my mind? Oh yeah, I lost that shit way long ago. But in Palau, the one endurance challenge. After that, like we had in Guatemala an endurance challenge. We didn't really see too much of that going forward.
Yeah, I mean it sucks for everyone out there. I just imagine like having to constantly be manning the equipment, manning sounds, just kind of like watching people kind of just be in a neutral position for mostly a long time and hoping that someone drops so you can just move on already.
Fair point. I mean, like doing Survivor, you kind of know what you're signing up for as a camera crew person. Yeah. But I mean, like, I get what you mean, especially if like, they have to like hurry up and can't afford any more extra days on there. It makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they are doing the 26-day schedule again for these next 2 seasons. I believe that was confirmed.
Yeah, I didn't click the article, but someone was like, freaking 26 days, and like one of the comments, and I'm like, that kind of figure.
Yeah, it seems like they might have liked the 26-day schedule from a production standpoint, which I'm still not really fond about.
It's one of the things where, because we're still in the pandemic, we're at a weird spot where we're still in it, but at the same time, it's like, maybe we should just kind of like live with it. We're in this weird part. I'm not going to touch on it fully, but like, because we're still kind of in that, and definitely when it comes to productions, especially bigger ones, there's a lot more protocols and stuff that take place, especially when you're going overseas. And I believe like, the Fijian ones is a little bit stricter, which was part of the reason why they just couldn't straight up film in 2020. Where's my brain? Because of all of that.
They had to do the whole year off right after Winners at War. It really did seem, though, I gotta say that they might have ended it on Winners at War as their mic drop because of the coronavirus. So we should just be happy that we are still getting Survivor, that it did not go away from it.
I mean, like 41 was a big mixed bag, but 42 has been like a great season. Like, it's like great cast.
I've heard people saying that this might be a top 5 season, which I think that's too much. I think that's hyperbole.
Thing. And also like it standing the test of time also kind of plays a factor into it. Like one season like that I really found like appreciation for Survivor Philippines, where I'm like, yeah, especially after my rewatch, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, this season is actually really cool.
It's really good, yeah.
And so like, yeah. So like, and that's always like one of the hardest things when it comes to like a favorite movie, or like if you really enjoy this new favorite movie,
Mhm.
if it's just the hype because it's new and it was really awesome, it's really like if it stands the test of time, you still enjoy it like 3 years later, 4 years later,
Yeah.
a decade later.
Exactly. That's why Kaguyan and Heroes versus Villains have such a high place in people's minds, is that they've been kind of regarded as like the two best seasons for a lot of people. So they're kind of you think of them as, oh, that's just a great season of Survivor. Like that's the first thing you think of.
Yeah.
But like I think David versus Goliath is a top five, but
Top tier,
it's
definitely.
it's still pretty new, where I think more the characters or the moments, rather than like, oh, that's just a really great season of Survivor, like that.
No, that, and just
Yeah.
like the advantages and everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, like this one, it's like also the story's not finished, and as we
Yeah.
know with just TV shows in general, or why Guatemala is so low on my list.
Yeah, which we gotta do a winner season or winner rankings at some point, because that's gotta like, we gotta do that at some point.
I think yeah, that's going to be an interesting one because like I know like where I'm placing certain people,
Yeah.
where you're placing certain people. I have a rough idea, but like going down everyone.
Yeah, well, it's hard too, because it's who you like, or is it who you think played the best games? Because if you go by who's playing the best games, I think my list looks way different than my favorite games.
No, that's something we can establish prior to that. But
Yeah.
yeah, we still need to see the ending of 42. I think we have a good winter condition for a lot of the people that are left.
Hmm.
So like I feel like we won't be disappointed in the finale,
Hmm.
or like whomever the winner is.
Yeah, I feel like an Omer Marianne would really push the season over the top for me. Like I think I had like either one of those as a winner on the season.
Definitely see. I say it's harder for I won't say like, oh no, he's screwed. It's harder now.
Mhm.
After talking with you, yeah, I will say it is a bit harder for him because of this new big obstacle.
Yeah.
And as we've seen, we saw this with Swati, we saw this with High, but when people start
Mhm.
realizing that like, oh, you're making moves behind the scene, or like
Yeah.
start to like seen as like a threat,
Yeah.
it's like, ooh, this is actually the real threat, and then they want to take care of it immediately.
Yeah, but there's also a bonus for actually this coming out if you even think about it even further, because one of the fears of Omer's game was him getting to the end and no one recognizing he's done these moves. Now people are more aware of him doing these moves, so if he can still make it to the end despite that knowledge, I think all of his past moves kind of gets brought up into even better light. And this last run would have been, much more impressive otherwise. So
Another
the
fair point.
so it can go either way.
It
It's
can go
really
either way.
it
Yeah,
really is up to how Omer plays this next tribal.
I mean, he has to just survive 3 more eliminations. Well, all of them technically do. Mike, I don't know. I feel like yes, he's very likable, and yeah, like he doesn't really have too much blood on his head. It's really, do I think he's like the most obvious winner?
Hmm.
I wouldn't say he's definitely the most popular. I feel like no one's like targeting Mike except for like this episode where there was like, all right,
Yeah.
his ego kind of got the best of him. But like, I feel like out of the people that are left, there's a lot of fish to fry. He's definitely a fish to
Mhm.
fry, but
Yeah.
like the main ones, especially after like Drea's leaving,
Mhm.
Omer, Lindsay, and Jonathan, and Marianne too, like is a big threat because she is likable.
Yeah, she's had a lot of winner quotes, to be fair. She's been talking a lot about respect on the jury. She's had a lot about being a weird person to win Survivor.
Not only
Um,
that, like she's also like how I keep saying that Romeo has an underdog thing. She's not part of the 5 or now the
mhm.
4, and she's always kind of like been targeted on the outside, like even
Yeah.
within the top 4. So like, and especially her having an idol and an extra vote, which now that, Drea's gone, you know,
Yeah,
she's the
exactly.
only one with an extra vote.
Yeah. And I think that's a good reason why she might play her idol next week, because then she has an extra vote at final five. You get one person in on with you, and suddenly you
That's
can,
half.
yeah, exactly. You're you have half the tribe.
Pretty much. So yeah, I think we're in for another two great episodes.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
We gotta do our LVP and MVP now. So let's.
LVP, I don't know. Like, I want to kind of say Drea in the sense of like her fatal flaw
Mhm.
was telling, Omer, but at the same time, like she's still like a great player.
Yeah, she played a lot of the rest of it good. It was just
It
she
was
had,
like that one mistake that really, really tanked her game.
yeah. Um I mean this is low hanging fruit I'm going here, but I'm picking Romeo.
Yeah,
I think especially with this episode, they really gave him a negative light of him eating the rice out of the pots and
yeah. Like, I mean, like,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, like, Romeo is definitely another, like you said, low hanging fruit one. MVP, I might want to give it to Lindsay again.
uh,
I know it's like it's either Lindsay or Omer, but like for Lindsay, like not only like using her inner warrior, but also winning the shot in the dark. Or damn,
the do or
dude,
die. Too many
Ryan,
advantages, Jeff. Too many advantages.
Ryan, I love the do or die. It's so great. Also, Ryan, shot in the dark. But like,
I think Jonathan has actually some potential for, because he would have gone home if he doesn't win immunity. Like that was also kind of set up as he was the most likely target otherwise. And I do usually respect like if you are like the Garrett, like it's looking very plausible that you're going home and you win
like,
immunity.
like Corey wasn't.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I definitely think that could, but I'm still giving it to Omer. I still think Omer plays this so well, being able to understand, hey, I just got this very crucial information, and I think he played it right. I
no,
don't
he
think
did.
I
I
don't
think
think he should have taken out Mike. I don't think he should have not told Mike. I think he should have told Mike, take out Drea still, keep Mike as someone who's going to now not want to vote you out next tribal because of that trust that you just built with him.
no, he played it well. However, if it wasn't for Drea like calling
Yeah,
him out on it,
yeah,
but I will say this: now that Lindsay has the idol itself, like now the amulet is an idol, that
mhm,
also leaves her in a better position.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. She's guaranteed final five. So yeah, it's crazy because this really was like either Lindsay or Drea goes home, and they were both your people.
no, I know. Like
It
I
just
know.
when I saw that those were like the two big options, I was dying laughing. It was
Like I was like, it's at the point where I'm like, yeah, it's like
yeah,
I'm aware. I
yeah,
already kind of admitted defeat. It's
yeah.
like,
And next week, Lindsay plays the amulet for Jonathan and goes home.
no, there's a idol nullifier and it counts for amulets too. And
Yeah,
then
yeah, Danny McCrae was trying to find something at Final Six and he didn't find it. Was that the idol nullifier?
yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely see.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's it here. We managed to stretch out the episode a little longer.
Yeah, still one of our shortest reviews.
Yeah,
Which
it really is. I mean, the what else is it say? They spent a lot of time talking about the do or die twist, and less that you can really talk about with the do or die, which is another one of the reasons I'm not a fan of it.
yeah, well, I mean, we've already debated that one. Well, let's
Yeah.
not even debate. It was just like, I'm like, I can take or leave if it comes back. You're like, no, never.
Yeah, and I would it's a little better than the hourglass. It is like it is objectively better than the hourglass, but the hourglass's bar is so low that it's trying to say, well, it's better is not good.
Well, all right, guys. Well, I hope you really enjoyed this episode. I think it's the best of the season, or one of the best at least. But yeah, we got two more. We got two more, 42. If you have like a winner pick in our, leave it in our comments.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
always interested to see.
Yeah, exactly. Before we go off, real quick, winner pick on yours. Who do you think's still winning the season?
I think it could actually be Marianne.
Oh yeah.
I think it's like one of the things where it's like she's in a thing where all the really big fish are going after each other, and then when the dust settles, she's going to be there, and then people are going to be like, yeah, we underestimated you.
Yeah.
Well played.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that she has a really good winner edits, personally. I think her and Omer are the two people who have like a very clear like through the whole thing is like, oh, that's a clear winner edit. Mike has gotten a lot of content, but it hasn't been winner content. It reminds me of content, not as negative as what like a Philip Shepard was, but in terms of like they were giving us a lot of stuff from him, but it wasn't anything that was like, oh, this guy's going to win the season. So I think we might be seeing him either go out at fire or be the runner up of the season. I think that's where we might be seeing him.
Yeah, and now that you said that, I just imagine Mike coming to tribal council with a feather in his head.
And he's got some pink tidy whities. Yeah.
Oh god. But yeah, and like I really would think it would be cool if Lindsay won, not because of the winner thing, but like in the sense of like, because I do think she is a great player. I do think she is someone that could come back. Whether she's the strongest possibility of coming back, we have to see the rest of the season. But I'm starting to be like, she definitely keep an eye on her moving forward after this season, because she could definitely come back.
Yeah, I think as of right now, obviously there's more season to be had, so things could be changed. Right now, I would put her in the same category. I might put like Liana as like they might come out for like the Game Changers kind of cast as like one of the middle pack kind of contestants. Not one of the like completely like why are they here?
Lindsay has a lot more merit than that.
I think she's been ramping up, but overall I feel like we've only seen her really for a few episodes. We saw Liana actually quite a bit until she ends up going home. So
we'll see.
I think Lindsay's the better player. I think Liana was. I would probably say Liana and Chanel were probably the same in terms of gameplay that we got.
I'd say that's a fair comparison. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel like at least Liana was socially aware. So like, I'm so sorry if you watched it. I mean, like, we're just going off of what the edit.
Yeah, you had zero good content that Survivor showed. So
I chose you very high on my list in the beginning. So like,
hey, if you didn't pick her second, I was gonna pick her second. So
you still get love from us, even it's just like before we got to see the season.
We liked you before we knew you.
No. Damn, I feel. All right, we'll leave on that note.
That's the perfect note to end this episode of the Day After podcast. Catch you guys in the next one.
All right, peace out.